Shavua Tov, welcome to day 3 of 8 lights for 8 nights. There is a fascinating and well-known contradiction in the holiday of Hanukkah that when it comes to the way we normally understand the miracle of Hanukkah, the absolute event that led to our celebration of this holiday. You go to the Gemara and Shabbos, and it's quite clear that the primary element of the day is the fact that the oil lasted for 8 nights. However, or 7 extra nights, and therefore we have 8 nights of Hanukkah. However, we know that in our davening, when we recite the tefillah of Al Hanisim, we essentially thank Hashem for the war victory, but we don't actually talk about the miracle of the oil lasting for 7 extra nights at all. And so the obvious question is, well, what's the main miracle of the holiday? Is it the fact that we won the war? Or is it the fact that the oil miraculously lasted for all of these extra days that it should not have? And what's really fascinating is that the truth is the primary miracle actually seems to be the fact that there was a war victory. It's absolutely incomprehensible that the Jewish people should have been able to defeat the Greeks, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful army in the world. They were able to overcome them. They were able to bring them to their knees, essentially. That is a miracle of unimaginable importance. It's true that this fascinating miracle took place of the oil lasting a few extra days than it should have, but that is clearly secondary to the miraculousness of winning the war. Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz explains we have to realize how we're meant to categorize these miracles. The first miracle, the primary miracle, the one that really clearly deserves an enormous amount of thanks to Hashem, is the fact that we won the war. That's why we talk about that prayer, or we talk about the war victory in our prayers, because that's really most on the forefront of our minds. Thank you, Hashem, for allowing us to win this war. But explains Rav Shmulevitz that the oil lasting for 7 extra nights when it should not have, we have to realize that that miracle never even needed to happen. There's a well-known idea that if most of the congregation is impure, then at the end of the day, we are not obligated to bring pure oil. We could have used impure oil. That's the big secret of Hanukkah. They were searching and searching for pure oil, but they could have used impure oil the entire time. But the point is that they specifically looked for the pure oil, and the single jug of oil ended up lasting for 8 days when it should have lasted for one. And that miracle was of significance not because it was necessary, but because of the fact that it was extraneous. Says Rabbi Shmulevitz that when we go through hardships, when we experience very difficult times, we're looking for, in a sense, 2 levels of salvation. There is the please just save us, make sure we don't die, make sure we just live to see the next day. That's, the base physical level. But then there is what we call the spiritual, and more importantly, some like to call it a kiss or a hug from Hashem. There is the above and beyond nature of what we sometimes don't even realize that we're asking for, but that makes all the difference in the world. If Hashem would have just allowed the Jewish people to have won this war, Dayenu, it would have been absolutely incredible. But what made this miracle and this entire holiday worthy of commemoration and something that we need, to celebrate for generations, is the fact that it didn't just have the beautiful base miracle, but it also included this kiss from Hashem. The fact that the oil, the pure oil, lasted for 8 days when it didn't even have the ability to, and when we didn't even need it to. It was just something, quote unquote, extra. Sometimes in our lives, we have to realize that it's not just the salvation that we are hoping and asking and davening for, but it's also these kisses, these hugs, these extra winks or smiles from Hashem that we have to not just be wanting and asking for, but also be on the lookout for. Sometimes we don't fully appreciate that if we take stock, zoom out a little bit of all of the different things going on in our lives, some good things, some perhaps negative or bad things, it seems. Ultimately, when we are able to recognize the small kisses and hugs from Hashem that maybe could go unnoticed, we have to realize that these are messages that Hashem is sending to us in order to give us the strength to keep fighting, to keep fighting and moving forward. And most importantly, when we have a holiday, when we have a salvation, when we have a redemption of the caliber of Hanukkah, we have to realize it's not just the fact that Hashem saved us, but it's the fact that Hashem saved us plus. He went above and beyond to unimaginable depths to allow this unusually beautiful and revealed miracle to take place for no other reason other than just to say, I love you. My children, I love you. And this is something that we have to take to heart in this time, both an appreciation of how Hashem went above and beyond when he obviously did not need to, but more than that, we have to seek to find these extra kisses and hugs from Hashem that are certainly in our lives, and they are only able to be realized if we look for them, if we try and find them, because sometimes they're so meaningful, powerful, and special, but they are hidden underneath negativity or pessimism, whatever you would like to call it. Hashem should give us the ability to illuminate our own perspective and see the small little notes and messages that Hashem is sending to us with the kisses and the hugs that we, God willing, do find in our lives. Wishing everyone a beautiful Motzei Shabbos and a beautiful third day of Hanukkah.